Hello, brothers and sisters. I wanted to start out today. I had ended my last video was about the 7 days of the week being named after the planets, and Saturday was actually named after Saturn. Okay, and then we have this association with Saturn, the actual planet. On top of it has a hexagram, a dark black hexagram, like a box. Cube. If you watched any of my videos, you know what I talk about on that. Well, something had came up in a conversation last night at dinner, and that's the thing. Sometimes when I'm talking about these things, I'm resourcing information that I have, but I do realize that sometimes other people may not know these things. And what I want to point out now is what's called the Tefillin. Okay, and this is a black box that is worn on the forehead and on the left arm of certain groups of Hebrew Jewish people. Okay, because in the last video I was showing Saturn, by most references, is referred to as controlling time and space. And time and space is recognized as a box or a cube. And the reason it is such as that is because we understand, or we believe, or what knowledge we do have, there are 6 cardinal directions. It's north, south, east, west, which is like 4 sides of the cube, up and down, which is the top and the bottom. Okay? And everything that's in that would be reality. Okay? Then time is the concept of it moving and changing. One moment it's this, and another moment something's moved, something's changed within that 3D space. All right. So, and I just want to point this out because I look at this cube program in sacred geometry, and so we do have this, and I know this about the Tefillin, but then a lot of people they don't. And then it's also called a few other names, but it's just basically a black leather box. Okay. Well, then there's symbols that are on it, or Hebrew letters, okay, and within it contains some scrolls. All right, and I just find it interesting that the scripture that is on these scrolls is here, and it shall be for a sign for you upon your hand, and for a memorial between your eyes, that the law of the Lord may be in your mouth. For with a strong hand did the Lord bring you out of Egypt. Exodus 13:9. And it shall be for a sign upon your hand, and as a totafot between your eyes. For with a mighty hand did the Lord bring us forth out of Egypt. And you shall bind them as a sign upon your arm, and they shall be as a totafot between your eyes. Deuteronomy 6:8. Okay, and so what I'm kind of looking at here is here we're talking about this cube, all right, and here it's saying it's going to be bound to the hand, and when you talk about between the eyes, this is the forehead. Okay, and this is what I find so interesting in some of these interpretations, why they choose to use between the eyes in this situation. But then in other scriptures, they would refer to it as the forehead, even though they're talking about the same spot. Okay? Now, I'm also looking at it as far as scripture, as far as the mark, because the mark is even on the hand or the forehead. All right? Now, I speak a lot about the imagination. Well, the imagination is in this same location. It's between the eyes or the forehead. All right? And the imagination is what I talk of as being what I understand it in my world. It's the God spark. Okay? And so it's I was thinking about something, a comment I had made on a video a while ago with someone, and talking about the 6 carnal directions. Okay, there are 6 directions we can go. And in a weird way, we try to go in those 6 directions and we try to control everything, and that's everything outside of us. But the 7th direction is within. Okay, and the real mastery and the real deal is to control within. So I'm going back to now the 7 days on the calendar, and I'm a lot of scripture is running through my mind, and I'm thinking, okay, so 6 days we are, the 6 outward directions. Okay, but on that 7th day, you got to go within. You understand what I'm saying? That's not another kind of outward day, because there is in and out. As above, so below. As within, without. I don't know. I mean, this is just sort of an interesting little, because I'm aware of this black box. I know they wear it on their forehead. I knew they tied one and strapped it to their arm also. And the whole concept of time and space. And that's the funny thing. In 6 directions, yes, there would be time and space. But within, there is no time and space. And, and I'm sort of thinking of Jesus as heaven is within. Wow. Heaven is within. And in my way of looking at things, that is the 7th direction. You see, and there is where we are to control. But somehow in our psychology, in the world, and this whole dimensional thing, we're drawn to the 6 directions out. Okay, and we want to, control all of that. Okay, yeah, you go over here, you go over here, you do this, you do that. No, I don't like that. Stop that. Okay, but the real thing, the trick, is to control within. And what we were talking about in the comment, what was being said, was the idea that everything that happens without creates a emotion in us. Okay, and we get to control that. We get to choose how we respond, we react, and what and this was actually Mike Lovren was reading something that was really good. I liked what he was talking about, because he was talking about mastering the inside, the emotions, and I mentioned in there, in the 9 fruits, the 9th fruit is self-control. And that is within again, and this is controlling the emotions, controlling the reactions. Okay, but first, you have to be aware of it. And if you're out there running around in the 6 directions, you're not aware of it. Okay, you got to complete them things before you start to look within you. And it's funny, I look at the word, and maybe some people don't get this, but the word enemy, okay, in a funny way it says, in a me. The enemy is within. We like to think it's without. It's you, it's you, it's you, it's you. But it's within. You see, and which is also where Christ says heaven is. Heaven is within the 7th direction. So just, tying more of it in and showing you, how this cube, this physical 6 directions, okay, 6, but then 7 is within Saturn. You see, and in a weird way, yeah, you 7, and that's the thing. The cube has 6 sides and 6 directions. Okay, but you got to understand 7, which is the observer. It's the experiencer. It is the spirit. And it's the idea of the spirit mastering the body versus the body mastering the spirit. Think about it. Have a good evening.